Hey guys, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington. It's that time again. It's that review time, and I got some really good books, some really shitty books, and no online books again. I think that will start up next week or maybe the week after that. Where I'll be having online books. I could have had some this week. Savage Wolverine finally came out again. It's been too long for me to care about it anymore, so screw it, not gonna read it. Yeah, so 5 books as usual. I start out with my least liked to my pick of the week, and we'll get started. First off, Superior Carnage issue number 3. I didn't like this. This book was not good. But I said in my haul video that if this book doesn't wow me, then I'll not read the rest of the miniseries. But the thing is that the way that this ends, it looks like things are gonna finally happen. I'll just spoil it anyways, because I don't recommend that you read it. So at the end of this, we finally actually get Superior Spider-Man gonna be in the book. He was in the book for like a panel in like issue 1 or something, or issue 2. But now he's actually going to get in it. Again, he's only in here for 1 page, and that's the last page. But it's kind of cool how they set him up to get in here. But other than that, like, anything with Carnage in here was absolutely terrible. I hate what they did with him. Again, I'll spoil it. So because the Wizard couldn't control Cletus Cassidy's mind because he's lobotomized, they went ahead and they stripped him of the Carnage symbiote and gave it to some other, like, evil science genius guy so they could control his mind. And then Carnage looks entirely different. You know what? This is kind of the same thing as Venom. I get that, looks entirely different and all that kind of stuff, but this is kind of a corny look, first of all, and it's not backed by a good enough story to overlook the look. That's Carnage. Yeah. Doesn't look good. Pretty much, again, anything with Carnage was terrible. The Wizard is losing the only good parts in this is when the Wizard is kind of, like, you can see him cracking, like, his mind is pretty bad. I think he has cancer or something like that. And, his mind is just crazy. And the Claw is starting to notice a little more, but he still kind of tries to overlook it, but you can see it bothering him more. And those are really the only good parts, and that doesn't happen entirely enough throughout the whole book for me to actually care. But I do want to actually see how Spider-Man handles this. But again, it's not even really Carnage, and it's not even really Spider-Man, so you know what, it will have to be a very small week with this next book coming out for me to want to pick it up again, or there has to be something that I don't want over this for me to pick this book up again, because just not good. Was not good. Don't recommend it for anyone. It's 3 issues in. I think it's a 5-issue mini, and the first 2 issues nothing happened, and this issue a bunch of shit, like a bunch of bullshit happened. Like, not cool shit, bullshit. So, moving on to books that I actually liked. This is Teen Titans issue 23.2, Deathstroke number 1. Really cool cover. And this kind of also follows the origin type thing that Villains Month has been doing. Doesn't go back to, his growing up and things like that, but we pretty much, Deathstroke at the present time, he's conducting a mission to really like kill off this one guy. We don't really get much of who he is, and it doesn't really matter much of who he is. Um, where Deathstroke kind of he talks about the feelings that you get and the memories that all of a sudden start flooding in once that like last quarter second when you're like about to kill somebody, and then that's how we set up to see his memories, and we go all the way back to when he was in the military, and working for the government, just doing what the government tells him to do. We see this scene where he kind of he's in war zone, of course, and he has to like set a bomb at this one location. Pretty much only gets the location, doesn't know anything about it, and then once he sets it and starts running away, he looks back and he sees that it's a children's hospital, and he sees that there's a bunch of children there, and he pretty much, because the army knew what it was, but they didn't tell him, he pretty much was forced to kill a bunch of kids, and that set him off. And so at that point, he pretty much just said screw it to the army, and then his son was also born, his son Grant, and so he started working for other governments and doing missions for them along with his son because it was the only person he could trust. And then at one point, they got ambushed in like North Korea or something, and it was supposed to be like a peaceful hideout place, and then they got caught, and his son was killed, and that's when his eye gets shot out, and that's when he becomes the Deathstroke we all know. And it turns out I'm telling you guys the whole story because none of you guys are going to read it. At the end of the book, we find out that the guy that Deathstroke is killing in the present time is the guy that set up the ambush to kill his son. And so that's what it is. Pretty cool. Wasn't the best issue of Villains Month, but I dug it. Of course, I'm a Deathstroke fan, so I'm going to dig it. Would I recommend it to just the casual reader who wants to know something more about Deathstroke? Maybe not. It wasn't, amazing. But if you like Deathstroke, you will like the story. So, there's that. Next book, Superior Spider-Man issue 18. I love the cover. I love Stegman's 2099 Spider-Man. It's so good. This issue I can say wasn't as good as issue 17, the way I thought of it. I know a lot of people thought 17 was shit, but you gotta kind of it's so polarizing. There's a lot of people who thought it was crap, and then there's people that thought it was amazing. I'm in the thinking of it as amazing side. This book was pretty good. It wasn't amazing. But we kind of get, just more of the Superior Spider-Man dealing with a bunch of the stuff between Tiberius Stone to stuff with Horizon Labs, and pretty much all his inventions and stuff gonna be owned by I want to call it Alchemix because I don't remember. It's like Alchemicals or something. It turns out to be Alchemix in 2099, but I think it's like Alchemicals. I can't remember. So Doc Ock Spidey's freaking out about that. Pretty much being a total dick this issue, and screwing everything up because he's so selfish. Those are the kind of parts that like piss me off because I was like, oh my gosh, he's screwing everything up, and also just screwing up Peter Parker's life a little more because Mary Jane calls him and he's like, I don't have time for you right now. Click, hangs up the phone, and so Doc Ock Spidey, as usual, pisses me off. But 2099 Spider-Man is really cool. I like the dilemma that he faces still. He's got a he's going through a thing where he's like, if I save the day here and save Tiberius Stone and do everything that I'm supposed to do, then that leads to a future where there's this terrible corporation and things like that. But if I don't do it, that probably won't happen, but I won't exist. So, he's facing a real big dilemma, and yeah, so, I really like how Slott is writing him. I like the story that revolves around the 2099 Spider-Man, but the Doc Ock Spidey pisses me off again. Last issue he was cool. This issue pisses me off. But it was a good issue. It wasn't as good as the last, but I enjoyed reading it. Definitely seems like a longer book. There's so many things happening. For all you Green Goblin haters, not haters, but like people hating on the Green Goblin setup things, be prepared to hate on it more, because he doesn't actually show up in this issue, but he's kind of... I'll just leave it at that if you want to see it yourself. It's not a huge deal, but it is what it is. But yeah, it was a pretty good issue. I enjoyed it. Next issue, Venom, issue number 41. Awesome cover. This book, okay, so Crossbones is the one who's hunting these people with the mark of the devil, the pentagram on their chest, and he's skinning them. That we find out from last issue. Crossbones is, I'm pretty sure he's a Captain America villain, but he's in Venom right now. So we get a lot of, we finally get some fighting with Lord Ogre, and he turns out to be, he's kind of brushed off as a nobody, really. Like, we get all this setup, like, man, Lord Ogre's is a badass. And then we kind of just get him just like, alright, brushing you off, there's bigger things happening. So, to some people I can see if they were mad about it. I thought it was actually kind of funny, because there are bigger things going on more than Lord Ogre, and he deserves to get brushed off. And there were funny things in here, just artistically. There's a scene where like Venom is kind of lecturing Andy, like the Manaya Venom, and he's kind of all venomed and hulked out, and he's kind of just like lecturing her, and it looks funny. I thought that was funny, but this issue is pretty good. And at the end of this issue, kind of the last parts of this issue, there was a lot of cool stuff happening with Flash Thompson pretty much talking directly with the symbiote, and like also at the same time reliving all of his like memories from when he was an alcoholic to when he was in the army, had his legs blown off, to him kind of disappointing Betty Brant all those times, and then to where he got the symbiote and things like that, and when he goes to Philadelphia. So a lot of really cool things happening in this. End's next issue has to come back, because it doesn't seem like this book is made to end yet. The way things are happening, it seems like it's going to continue. So I'm pretty sure now. I'm not 100%. I would say I'm 80% sure that it's going to come back. But that 20% is a strong 20 that it won't. But the 80% is, I'm about 80% sure that it will come back. But really good issue. I always enjoy that book. But this book, like I've said, is my pick of the week. Always, and will always be Daredevil issue number 31. Yeah, 10 issues after this, and they started around the same time. Anyways, Daredevil issue 31. This book was, oh my god, this book is so freaking good. None of this happens, but man, this book, holy hell. So the main thing that's happening that I can tell you guys is there's this court case not being conducted by Nelson and Murdoch and things like that, but kind of like a high profile court case. Really similar to the Trayvon Martin case. I mean, it's the Trayvon Martin case. Just, switch some things around. Instead, this was like a known bigot, racist white woman who shot a black kid in an office because, in the defense, it was self-defense, but the kid was like an honor student and a tutor and things like that, and it becomes like, it was pretty much the Zimmerman case. If you know the Zimmerman case, you know the case in this. And like the Zimmerman case, the shooter was found not guilty. What then happens after that, I can't tell you, because I would spoil too much, and you just have to see for yourself, because when I saw it, my jaw dropped. I was like... And then, like, the things that happened after that, I was like, there's just... I don't believe this. And then the way that it ends, I literally said out loud, there was no fucking way. There's just no way. This book is crazy. It says Sam Nee's back. Sam Nee is not back on art on this. He did the cover, but Javier Rodriguez does the art inside. Just Wade and Sam Nee are the storytellers together, so that's why Sam Nee's name is on the credits. The beginning of this book was also really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I guess I could kind of tell you. Minor spoilers, or really spoilers, but, it's not major spoilers for the book. We kind of get this note to all the chemo patients going around, and there's, like, these boxes being delivered to them, and the note is going on and saying, it's my turn to lead the chemotherapy, groups, the discussion groups. It's my turn to lead them, so accept my gift to wear to the class, or wear to the group, and all this and that. And it's from Foggy, and in the boxes are Daredevil t-shirts, and so all the chemo patients show up to the group in Daredevil t-shirts, and the way Foggy kind of gives his speech and the way he leads the group is really nice, and I really enjoyed it. And that kind of plays into the end, to the last thing, but again, there's just no fucking way. This book is awesome. If you have not started reading this, you are so behind in your comics life. Why not? Just read it already. Start at issue 28. Start at issue 1. Just do something. Read it. Read a random issue. Just read the damn book. Okay? Anyways, that's it for me, guys. Again, 5 books. Read Daredevil. Can't wait for Venom to come back. And Superior Carnage sucked ass. Yeah, so that's pretty much the wrap up. I'm Wellington signing off with the Comic Book Lowdown. See you guys next time.